Cherie and I have been together for a really long time. She is my stylist, and not only mine, but stylist to the stars. So could you say some of the people that you style for?
Currently, Lainey Wilson, Bailey Zimmerman, Jason Aldean, Brittany Aldean. I work here and there with Caitlin, Kane Brown's wife, Maddie and Tay.
Everybody who's cool in Nashville, she's doing. And I can still remember, I think I was at like Jason and Brittany's house, and I was like, Brittany, I love your jeans. And she was like, oh gosh, well, my stylist got them for me. I'm just still embarrassed to say the word stylist. And I just still remember, like, way back in the day, I was like, golly, can you imagine having a stylist? Like, I thought only like Nicole Kidman like had a stylist. Like,
Yeah.
extremely famous people that were like on red carpets all the time. And I was like, how does this whole thing work? And it opened my life up to so much fun. And I've always had a love of fashion, but you have just taken it to a whole new level, and you've made it so fun for me. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Living Fully podcast. Okay, so we do a lot of different types of podcasts around these parts, and the ones that I get most excited to do are the ones with the people that I'm the closest to or that have played like a large role in my life. And I'm sitting here today with one of those people, and Cherie Kilchrist.
No, Kilchrist.
Do you want to say that? Cut that out. Cherie Kilchrist.
The trauma from my childhood has now entered the building again.
It's so funny
You
because
can keep that too if you want. You know, it's
I
fine.
literally, I was like, I never say your last name. I was like,
Yeah.
how do you actually say it?
Kilchrist. Like, you know, Gilchrist is actually kind of a popular name. Like
Yeah.
G-I-L, spelled the same way. But no one ever is like, Gilchrist.
It's because that's, and you didn't change. No, you don't have a different
No.
last name. You're like me, and
Yeah.
so I was like, Cherie, how do you say your last name? And Cherie and I have been together for a really long time. She is my stylist, and not only mine, but stylist to the stars. So could you say some of the people that you style for right now, currently?
But currently, Lainey Wilson, Bailey Zimmerman, Jason Aldean, Brittany Aldean. I work here and there with Caitlin, Kane Brown's wife, Maddie and Tay.
Everybody who's cool in Nashville, she's doing. and I can still remember, I think I was at like Jason and Brittany's house, and I was like, Brittany, I love your jeans. And she was like, oh gosh, well, my stylist got them for me. I'm just still embarrassed to say the word stylist. And I just still remember, like, way back in the day, I was like, golly, can you imagine having a stylist? Like, I thought only like Nicole Kidman like had a stylist. Like,
Yeah.
extremely famous people that were like on red carpets all the time. And I can still remember, like, this is, gosh, I'm trying
How long ago was that?
I'm trying
I
to
was
think.
trying to think of it this morning too.
Maybe it's definitely been 3 years, because we did my book shoot, which was Shepard was like a baby and he's 5, so he was probably like 1. My book came out in 2022. We shot the cover probably in 2020. I would say it's been 4 years, 3.5 or so,
yeah.
maybe.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah, and I can still remember we were doing my book. That was the first one that we did, the book cover.
that's crazy.
And I was like, so how does, am I qualified enough to hire you? And B, how does this whole thing work? And it opened my life up to so much fun and creativity. And I've always had a love of fashion, but you have just taken it to a whole new level, and you've made it so fun for me. And with all the dang work we do around here, I like to have a little bit of fun. And every time
Yeah,
we get
you're
together,
fun.
we have fun.
You're fun.
So I want to talk about all things style today, and to ask some questions too that people that are listening to this podcast that are like, I ain't never going to hire a stylist, but we want to give them some tips and tricks to where, like, if they're going, what are the staple pieces that they need in their life? And like, you know, what are the pieces that you hang on to, and what are the trends, you know, that you're seeing and stuff like that? Because I think in the back of everyone's mind, everybody likes fashion.
Absolutely. In
Yeah.
some form, for sure.
In some form.
I mean, even if it's just sweats, I'm sure you know, I don't know. There's
You've made some sweats look pretty
Yeah.
cool.
everyone loves some form of
Yeah, if
fashion.
you're not watching the YouTube video right now, Cherie, let me describe her outfit.
I did not match the color palette.
You matched your Cherie
This
color
always
palette.
happens to me.
Cherie's got an edgier, cooler style than me. And so if you ever see me looking cool, it's something that Cherie has probably like pushed me a little bit further than I was comfortable wearing. And I like love it when I put it on.
Only if you see her in leather.
Leather.
You ever
Leather
see
is
Mallory in
something that
leather?
I'm really...
I definitely had to force her into tears to put that on.
Every time, like in the beginning, the racks would have a lot of leather, and then it got less leather, and then it got less leather, and then every once in a while you'll be like, I mean, I've got this in the bag, but like I know you're not gonna like it. So you know.
Yeah.
So right now, Cherie has on these awesome leopard jeans. They're Amazon, right? The Amazon ones that I always
these are
want.
Well, I still get confused if it was Amazon or
The Instagram ad.
pop-up.
It's good.
Because
What are these
who
fuzzy
knows?
red shoes?
Oh my gosh, Zara.
So cute.
Aren't they so fun?
A red Nike letter block like sweater with Nike embroidered on it, and a white collar, and then what? New York Yankees red and white hat with gold jewelry.
Yeah,
and a ring and a half on every finger.
With my nails that need to be done. But this is where I thrive.
Ain't nobody looking at your nails.
This is where I thrive. This right here.
Don't you come up to Cherie and
That's
try to
it.
rob her in a parking lot because you're going to be in bad
That's
shape.
all I care about right here.
Yeah, she's got 900 rings on her fingers. But you also like collect cool things, like talking about your rings and stuff like that. Like I feel like I've built a lot of my collections and things that I continue to grab for that I style with outfits, whether it's handbags or shoes or jewelry. You've taught me a lot about that, the styling of the outfit.
You're so good too about that. Like look at your stack on your arm right now. Just creating your own story through jewelry, I think, is so fun.
I've always loved jewelry, and
Me too. That's where I thrive.
I agree with you on that, and I also think that it's just like you think, oh gosh, I've shopped and I found this dress that I'm wearing to this wedding, and I'm going to put this dress on. That's kind of how I always was my whole life until 3.5 years ago, and I realized that was like 40% or 50% of the job. There's a whole nother 50% of the styling with the accessories, the bags, the shoes, the way you do your hair, the color of lipstick that you wear, that you taught me about, that I can now kind of like do a little bit on my own.
Oh yeah, you're good.
And that's something that like I think everyone can do. And even being into fashion, I just like didn't realize that further styling piece.
Yeah.
That a stylist brings into your life.
I mean, we have to have some job security.
Yeah, because you don't do anything at all, do you? Bless. They do so much. I want to talk about that too. So, okay, tell me about like your journey into fashion. Like, you know, what is your story? Like, how did you arrive here in Nashville, Tennessee as a stylist, styling everybody in the city?
My long story shortened is I grew up in Louisiana. Always knew I needed to go to a big city. I went to a fashion school in Dallas because I wasn't ready to go too far away because I looked into FITM. I just always knew I was going to something in fashion. That's just kind of like always what I thought. But growing up in Louisiana, it was, okay, I'm going to own a boutique.
Yeah.
Like my mom and her twin sister actually had a clothing store when they were younger, like way before me.
I didn't know that.
They did. And so
yeah, I love your mom's style too.
She's
fancy.
Mom is out there.
I love it.
And I now I see that I got it from her, but I think like the person that she was when she had that store and her journey, that like, you know, as you get older, you start to find out your parents' story and them who they were pre-parent. And I think it's like all of that. I am taking some of that. So anyway, back to the story.
Yes.
I was always growing up in Louisiana too. Like I really had a stylist was not in, I didn't know what that was. I'll just be honest with you. Like I had no idea. I mean, I thought like maybe stars just like woke up and walked out their house like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. They're just like fabulous and that's just what it is.
They just dress like
that's
that.
That's just, you were just born great. But anyway, so I would own a store, a boutique, and then just go from there. That's just always like what my journey was. So I went to fashion school. And at that fashion school, I worked markets and got to learn all that. Because I was like, okay, let me see that side of the business, like doing orders with stores, meeting stores. Like, how is that all? That's how I was planning on everything. And then my best friend went to LA. She also wanted to be in fashion. She went to LA, and I was like, okay, well, I'm always going to live in New York. That's just what you do, you know, to be able to do something big in fashion. Like, we're going to an fashion office and just be that cool. So I was like, well, I'm going to New York. And that was just like always the goal. Anyway, I'm in college in Dallas. She's in LA. She said, you have to come visit me. You're not going to move to New York. Went to LA and I was like, oh my God, I have to live here. Like, I have to live here. Like, done.
Yeah.
Finished school, moved to LA, got linked up with, there's this actress, Sharon Stone.
Yeah, they're going to know who that is.
Okay. And you should, except it's like now, you know,
Maybe
the younger generation, the 20-somethings.
Google her.
And I'm like, excuse me, do you not know that icon? Anyway, my friend who I was telling, Lindsay, who was in LA, you know Lindsay, who was in LA, she was interning for Sharon's sister. And her sister, Kelly, had a fashion company and repped a couple lines. Or, you know, one of her big clients was the DIC, this Diamond Information Company, and they would loan jewelry to sets and do all these things. So anyway, I became her personal assistant. And that is when I stepped into Hollywood. And I just started learning all the things. I did so many jobs. I still had no idea I was going to be a stylist. I just was like, okay, well, now I'm in LA. I'm opening doors. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. And that journey in LA led me to having all kinds of jobs in fashion. I mean, I did marketing for a swimwear line. I did Miami Fashion Week. Like, I was doing all these things that I was like, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know still what I was going to actually do with my life. And then I found out what a stylist was and what they do. And I was like, that's me. That is me. That I can do that. Yeah. That is 100%. That is exactly the job for me. So I got in those doors and just had the opportunity of all the people throughout my journey. Yeah. I was able to know how to get in the doors to assist big Hollywood stylists. And that was the end. That's what I did.
And the beginning.
And was just trained by them.
Isn't it awesome though? Like when you come from a smallish community and you think, I like this thing and this is the way this thing is done. It's really amazing when you are exposed to something totally different. And then it's like the lights go off in your brain. Yeah. And I think that so many people, they think, okay, well, this is how I do this thing. This is what I want to do. This is the way I'm going to do it. And I love it because I'm also from a small town. And it's just like the exposure of seeing it done and like taking those odd jobs and doing the grunt work. Like you see the behind the scenes and there's so many more options.
Guys, I ended up through so many random jobs. I mean, even Kelly was trying to help me. Like, you know, when she didn't have work for me, she was like, oh, my friend who does Sharon's hair, just assist her for the day for extra money. I'm like, okay. I mean, I've stood and just like held the tool to put Sharon's extensions in. Like I did that for like a couple of months. Like I was just like, what am I doing? But I'm also like at this house that I thought was just in movies. And I'm like a butler opened the door and I was just like, and I saw her closet. I was like, oh, what?
A whole new world.
You just are just so inspired and just, you're just like, what is like, you know? And that random job just kept opening doors.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was the thing that surprised you most about Hollywood?
I think everything. It surprised me the most of just like, I think people's mentality was different. I mean, it was a way different world than how I grew up and everything. And
which is why you moved to Nashville too, because eventually LA kind of got a little too LA, right?
Yeah. And I think I didn't know that at the time, but I think that was the plan for me. I think God definitely sent me here because no matter what Hollywood was or what I thought I wanted, I still needed to be myself. Yeah. And not, I don't think that was fully the world I needed to work in.
It's a whole different world, I feel like, in LA. I used to think, oh, I'll live in New York City or LA. And I can remember visiting LA and I was like, you know, not to say everyone, but in general, the industry that I wanted to be in, the values were different. There's a lot of emphasis on looks, and looks were never my thing. It was always like talent or personality or like something. I was just like, oh, man, I ain't gonna last long in this environment. And the people didn't last long in that environment. It was really like a short window of success. Like young girls did really well. Who were, I just,
that's a great way to put it.
I think that Nashville, though, is the best of both worlds, which is why I love it that we're both in entertainment and we ended up here, because you have all of the opportunity that you need to do a job like you could do in LA and New York.
Oh my God. I tell girls all the time, you have no idea how lucky you are. Like, if you still have that itch to go to LA and New York, please go. Yeah. You need to get that itch out. Yeah. Like, for sure. But what a time to be able to like be a creative or want something in the industry, entertainment industry, and live in Nashville. There's so much opportunity here with still having your feet on the ground.
Yes, with still having your feet on the ground.
And having like being able to like still want a family and be married and have kids. Like, it's okay to be that, you know, but it's not that you're not left a lot of room and opportunity to have that in these other places. And you're also not in a community that is supporting that. Here it's supported to be like a working mom and woman, and
it is
be in the industry, and everyone bring it. I love the energy here for that.
Yeah. And the support, because seeing it as a positive and not a negative. And like also in the community of successful women in Nashville, everyone has young kids, and like a lot of young kids. And there are so many times in our time working together in the last like 4 years that you and I have had the conversation of, oh my gosh, like we can't do that. I can't do this, or I can't do that, or like I got to cut this short because I have to you have to pick up Rome from school, or I have to go to this thing. And it's just like in LA or New York, I feel like sometimes you can't even say it's just.
I wouldn't even bring that up. So I'm always sometimes I like leave, even with you or something, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have kept it to myself. No. But like, it's, you're a mom who understands, so I can come to you about that and know that like, I have to go get my kid from school. I am so sorry. Yeah. Like, I have to get my child.
She's going to be there waiting for me. There's no one else to get her. Yeah. But it's a beautiful, it is a beautiful place to do what we love to do, I think, and to have your feet on the ground. I think you said it perfectly. So, okay, going back to like when we started our like styling journey together, I remember I thought, and it's kind of like when you decorate a house. I never thought I'd use a decorator. Then I get to use a decorator, and I'm like, they're like, well, what do you like? And I'm like, oh, well,
everything.
Shoot. I thought you were going to like tell me that. So, because I can remember like one of our first conversations when I was like, okay, I like really fun stuff. I liked dresses a lot. I knew no one was wearing feathers 3.5 years ago, and we started like attaching feathers to everything. Yeah. We knew I liked like feathers and sequins. Does it take a second to figure out people's personal style? Like when you're a stylist, do you usually come in and do you usually say, what do you like? Or do you look at someone, you look at their past style and like.
Oh, I always ask them, what do you like? Yeah. Or like, what do you like, but you have no idea why even. Yeah. You know, I'm always like, just go ham, go crazy on a Pinterest board. Yeah. And like pull all the things that you love. You know, some people just don't know, but I always like to find out who that person is and what they like first. And just to bring out the best version of that. Right. And reel it in and put it together. Yes. You know, I always want to keep people still themselves.
And something else that I learned too was the fit of things. Because like alterations, you think, okay, if I'm short and something's too long, I'm going to alter it. But the fit of things and like the way that we've redone outfits and cut things and just added to things has been so fun as well. And it's not something that I ever really thought about until I had a stylist, or unless you're getting married and you're like fitting your wedding dress. Then that's the only time you ever have anything
why fit does it only have to be that people focus on that for their wedding? There's so many opportunities in life to, you know, get that right fit.
Alterations, if you're spending money on a dress, it's not like it's anything really that crazy to add on to style something and have it altered.
people are scared of that. They're thinking, oh, I shouldn't. I'm not going to go extra. I'm already treating myself to this. Why would I go extra
finish
on
the
a
job
tailor and all that?
Yes.
But I mean, it's that's not a crazy thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people even at home that know how to sew. You can hand stitch some feathers on a shirt.
Yeah.
No time.
You can get one of those little tools off of Amazon that you always have, a little gun
the
tool.
little stitch gun.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so if someone's listening and they're like, okay, still, I'm not going to have a stylist. What are 5 things that you feel like you need in your closet, like, at all times?
It changes for everyone. But say someone is, I never wear pants. I'm only like a dress girl. That's great. Have your staple dress that you can build on.
Yeah.
That fits you nicely. It is your go-to. I don't care if you have it in like a couple of colors, but those things can be built on for every season. You feel good in it. That is you. That's your signature. Say, I'm just a jeans girl. Well, then find your perfect fitted jeans and stick to those, and then you can build on it. Women love their handbags. Maybe not for everyone, but everyone should have just one handbag that they just love. And I think the jewelry is my thing. I think having your own personal flair, like your jewelry or something that just feels like you when you put it on, and makes you feel comfortable, and then that can be built around it.
Right, your everyday jewelry. She always calls it the everyday jewelry.
Like, it doesn't have to be. I'm not saying diamonds, all this. It's just your everyday jewelry.
I know, and it becomes like part of your identity too, because when we're styling something, and Cherie will be like putting it in the little things, and she's like, and then her everyday jewelry, and I know what that entails. It entails my gold bracelets, and maybe my diamond earrings, and maybe my watch.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be fancy. Maybe it's a cross necklace, or maybe it's a little tennis necklace, or maybe it's a little ring that your grandma gave you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just your thing that stays in your little dish, and it, comes on and off every day and right back on. It's just makes you feel like you put your mascara on in the morning.
Yeah, you put your mascara on in the morning. I love it. Okay, so how has your personal style evolved over the years? Or were you like the stars in your head? Were you just born that way?
I don't know. I just kind of always, I really just don't even think too much into it. I just
do what you like.
Yeah, whatever I'm feeling. Like, I mean, these shoes have been sitting on my shelf for like 2 months.
And they're great.
And I don't know. I change all the time. I don't know how to answer that. I get asked that a lot. And I feel like I change so many. I'm always changing. Like, I wasn't this baseball hat girl. I was like the flat brim, like almost like Lainey Wilson hats. Like, I can show you pictures when I was like living in New Orleans.
Yeah, I didn't know you in that.
Yeah, I was like a vintage girl, only going to vintage shops with dresses and doing the flat brim hat. And now I'm this girl. Like,
I think I do the same as you. There are things that stand the test of time in my style. Like, I'm a cowboy boot girl. I've always been a cowboy boot girl. And I can remember, like, when I studied abroad and in Europe and stuff, I would go to vintage stores. I would get the cowboy boots. I had all these cowboy boots. Or I'm all the way through college. No one wore cowboy boots when I was wearing cowboy boots. And then I can remember when I first started doing like influencer-y, bloggy stuff, because I started the blog first and I was doing some fashion-y stuff. And one of my friends was like, you got to stop wearing those cowboy boots. And I was like, really? And the 2 big bloggers in Nashville were Mary Lee, who's still Happily Gray, and then Cassie Kelly, who was the Womanista. She was like, do you ever see Happily Gray and Womanista wearing cowboy boots? And then I looked at their Instagram and I was like, because I'm not a comparer ever. But I looked and I was like, you're right. They don't wear cowboy boots. Okay. I won't wear cowboy boots for a little while. I need to like mix it up. Not that I felt self-conscious or anything. And I sold half my cowboy boots. And I was like selling everything at the time because I was just like trying to make everything work. Yeah. And then everybody started wearing cowboy boots. And I was like, do you know how the cool vintage boot collection that I just sold off? No. But I've always gone back to cowboy boots. I just feel like that's one of my things that I really like. Yourself. Yeah. And gold jewelry.
Mine has always been jewelry.
Yeah.
Always.
You've always had cool jewelry ever since I've known you. And a lot of jewelry. We share that.
Thank you. And I know through being just young and dumb, I've lost so much jewelry and letting people borrow it. I was looking at old pictures and I was like, wow.
Where is that?
Where is all of that?
I know. Now you have a girl, so that's a real bummer when you can't find it.
See, and having a kid too, I don't know. I'm always experimenting on who I want to be and what vibe. And I think it's fun to always change it up if you want to.
Yeah. I justify a lot of purchases now that I have a girl too. And it was already a little out of control before I had a girl, but now I'm just like, oh, but like I can pass this down. She's going to be like a huge tomboy and hate all of it probably. And then I'll be like, hoping my daughter-in-law's like me.
If it's not her, which I know it's going to be her, there's someone in your life that this is all meant for.
Do you feel like the being a stylist influences your style, or do you feel like no?
I think because I'm always looking at, like that's all I focus on is clothes and accessories and style, almost like looking at art. Like if you're an art collector, you're always somehow looking at art in every, just the sunset or anything.
Art
like,
in your house.
I shop all the time. So I'm constantly
you do.
wanting to change or I'm like, oh, I like this vibe that I just stumbled on. I want to try that vibe.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is something about being a stylist that you feel like a lot of people don't know? I think a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes world of a stylist, just like you didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
I can say what I know now working with a stylist. What I think something that people don't know is people don't realize all of the work that you guys do behind the scenes, because the sourcing of the outfit and the physical manual labor of the load-ins, the unloading, the steaming, the pinning, the hemming, you're on your hands and knees, then the physical labor that it is to load it back up, pack it back up, bring it back to 25,000 stores. That is the majority, I feel like, of your job. Not
think
glamorous.
About it. As you're saying this, I'm like, wait, it's, you know how I said I wanted to maybe own a store? Like that's what I was going to do. I actually own a store, but it opens and closes every day. And the inventory changes every day.
And you got to cover the inventory because you're the bank.
Just think of it. That store is set up for someone. When that person leaves, that store is shut down, set up for next person. And all of those clothes in there have to be packaged and sent back and make room for the new clothes.
Yeah.
So there.
You are
just
store. You're like, it's a pop-up shop.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And also, all those clothes have to be paid for.
Yes, from you,
and then we're
the store owner.
Yeah.
That's the thing a lot of people don't realize, too, because I know that stylists, and like we're not getting into the financial aspect of being a stylist because it's all different.
Yeah.
But a lot of jobs, you guys are purchasing the items. You bring them all to the artist or person, whatever. Then they pick what they want. They purchase those, but you have to return. Think of like around holidays when you're returning things and keeping up and saying, did they take it off my credit card? And did it ship on time? And do I need to call the customer service?
Yeah. Make sure it went back on your credit card.
Oh my gosh.
There's all these little things too that we always find, or money that we eat because it didn't go back, or you have to keep track. You have to keep track of everything that comes in and comes out because you want your money back. Right.
Yeah. And you have to have it because it's yours. It's like how you're going to set up the next pop-up shop if you don't get your money back from the inventory of the first one. It's so crazy though. It's mind-blowing. So that would be what I would say is all of the behind the scenes physical labor. Because think about how like most people are like so stressed about packing for a vacation. You pack and unpack an entire family of like 45 for a vacation every single day. Yeah. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know, my poor family, because when I get home, like Rome and Daniel leave for a ski trip tomorrow. Nothing's even started.
Oh no!
I literally drop them off at 5 a.m. tomorrow. A ski trip.
Are you going?
No.
Oh, because you got to work.
Mommy, daddy-daughter trip.
Oh, that'll be fun.
With her cousins, like all the boys that already snowboard. And this is her first time Daniel's getting her lessons because they're a big snowboarding family. Mm-hmm. And so his dad, his brother, and him, and then his 3 boys.
That's awesome.
And he's gonna,
Is Rome? I know the answer to this, but is Rome getting into fashion? Does she have her own like little style? Does she have an opinion about things?
She has an opinion, but she's not getting into it like I thought yet. Like she's not playing around. She doesn't like to wear jewelry. She doesn't like
I try to force a lot of it on Sunday.
It's really hard for me.
Mm-hmm. She'll get
really
there.
hard. But she has an opinion of what she doesn't want. For sure. And it's usually just like, oh, this doesn't feel good.
Yes.
It's like the touch.
For sure. All my kids are like that.
She needs to, I don't want to force her, but she needs to step it up. Okay, I need this girl to want to wear jewelry.
She's 5 or 6? 5, right?
5. But I mean, she's still pushing that tomboy. Like she's still asking for dinosaurs for Christmas. And I'm like, can we just like make bracelets? Like, what is happening?
Isn't it funny?
This is horrible. I don't want to play with dinosaurs. I want to make friendship bracelets.
That's awesome. Oh, Lord. I know. I feel the same way. Sunday was really into jewelry in the beginning. And I was like, oh, she loves jewelry. She loves dressing up. But now I realized she just didn't know what was going on. And like, then she realized what was going on. She started like ripping them off. And I was putting like nice jewelry on her, like Royal Nomad stuff. And like, you know, my little nameplate necklaces and stuff that I got made with her name. And then I was like, oh, she wasn't into jewelry. She was only 1 or under and didn't know what was going on, or just like, but one day, hopefully for the both of us,
she will. I know she will.
What is one investment piece that you feel like will never go out of style?
I just instantly wanted to be like, a Chanel bag.
Yeah. But like a nice handbag like that. I remember in high school, people were carrying Chanel bags that look exactly like the Chanel bags. I didn't have designer bags in high school, or I had a Coach bag that was designer back in the day. That was really big.
That. Oh yeah,
yeah. I remember
they just
being
rebranded.
Like, they're doing great now.
Coach is where it's at.
Who knew?
I wish you would have kept that bag.
I should have kept them. I sold them all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that for me, I like diamond studs. I wear them every single day, I feel like. And I'm not a huge earring person.
Say you're like an earring. Say you just love pearls. You should just have a nice pair. You should invest in one nice pair of pearls.
Or like a pearl necklace.
Or a pearl necklace. Mm-hmm. Or your diamond studs.
Mm-hmm.
Or a great handbag.
Get gemstones look just like that. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be something expensive, but like make sure that it's like.
Or even a statement piece, like maybe a great statement jacket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you love leather jackets. Get a great leather jacket. There's some leather jackets that just will never, they'll stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Little black dress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like style and fashion has just evolved so much that sometimes that question is hard for me. You know, like it's different. These days are different. Mm-hmm. It's not like when our grandparents dressed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's very trend heavy. And like everybody really follows the trends. And the trends are so much more accessible now because of online shopping that,
and
nobody has a capsule wardrobe.
And everything.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I kind of hope it starts to steer a little more towards that. But, you know.
Oh, I know. I mean, fast fashion too. It's like, what is happening in the world? Where's it all going to go? That's why when we did in my Sundays and we did the tinsel modal and we did the material, that I was like, I got to think of these clothes in 75 years.
Right.
Because we're making a lot of pajamas.
Yeah.
And we're making and I was like, this is where it is really important. Of course, it's important in our own individual lives to think like that. But this is really important as a person in fashion. If I'm selling all of these things, like, how do they go into the ground in 100 years?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't think about that kind of stuff before.
I know. I never have either, really.
Yeah, because the stuff that, the fast fashion stuff from
if my grandma saw
Amazon, it ain't going into the ground.
No.
And I've got on Amazon dress right now. You got on Amazon pants. I mean, it's just hard.
I know.
It's hard, but it's like we try for sure.
Yeah.
What is your advice to like someone listening that's like, I want to improve my style, but I don't really know how or where to start? Like, what would you say? Do you look at do you look at Pinterest? Do you look at Instagram?
I think I always say go to Pinterest. Obviously, it's just, I mean, there's so many keywords. Like, I get into such a deep hole on Pinterest. Like, just typing in so many different keywords of whatever I'm like looking for, and just kind of dig into that. It's really just like reading a book, just getting inspiration. Instagram now is such a great tool for that.
Yes, agreed.
Even just going to that search bar and then you're, typing in just what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's good. I remember once, because you always talk about my mom's style, because we're from like in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky, and you're always like, your mom's style is so classy, and like you asked me one time. She's so put together. She's so put together. And you asked me one time, you're like, where did her inspiration, like where was she always like that? Like, was she always into fashion? And I asked her about that, and I was like, where did you get into fashion, and where did you? She was like, I'm not into I wouldn't say that I'm like into fashion. I've just always dressed like this. She was like, just
Yeah.
dressed like that. And she was they had a very, poor family growing up. She didn't have the means to pull beautiful pieces that she's wearing now. But she said she would look at magazines, like people used to do. And she knows her style, though. Like, I know.
I think some people have the eye for it.
Yes, she has an eye for it,
and
for sure.
you do not. It is not about money. I think it's about taste.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it's well said. Mm-hmm.
Literally having the eye for it.
Yeah.
Because I never was able to, I didn't even really have much shopping experience with anything designer till I moved to LA.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. It was like department stores. It was Dillard's and JCPenney and stuff like that. So everything was like just fascinating. I would just, every time I looked at a magazine, my eye would go towards like what was like everything, like in detail, like what jewelry did they have on? What was the color palette?
Styling.
And then like what was the trend? And then I could walk into like a secondhand store or a vintage store, and that vision would come to me from a piece and then build on it by, something from my mom's closet or and just like make it trendy and cool. And I really just think that is just some people just have that.
Yeah.
That
I agree with that.
And
yeah. And I think too, like you were just saying, Pinterest, there are so many good tools that we have in the last 15 years, including social media, which it's a double-edged sword because it also like encourages you to go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I know like we're in the world of it, but it's also a great place. Like I see things. I'm sending you stuff all the time. I mean, I see this feather dress or this leopard outfit or this whatever it is, and like you just get so inspired, and it's like, oh, I can do that too. I don't have to get the same exact piece, but like the vibe.
Right, exactly.
The vibe. So, okay, that's good advice. Okay, so what is like your time in LA or your time in Nashville, what is like an outfit that you can remember styling that you're like, oh my gosh, that is my favorite outfit that I've ever styled? Like, do you have a favorite? Or if not outfit, like person, excluding anyone in this room?
I will never forget that furry hat that you wore walking the poodle, okay? I will never forget that look.
Hat. You did love that hat. You were having such a moment about that hat. That was a cool hat.
Okay, anyway, back to that. I will say with Lainey, there were moments that I got to be really creative in an aspect of telling someone's story as an artist and being really creative in that. It's kind of a simple look to some people, but her Wild Flowers and Wild Horses music video that actually won a CMA.
Yeah,
I loved that video because if you go back and look, she wore, so that was like that time that I was, working on this like album with her and stuff and these songs and telling this story. It was keep her bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Keep her bell bottoms as a cowgirl.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to think about that. Like, okay, so let me look at what designers are doing bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Like what bell bottoms are in what collection, And then Michael Kors did this collection with, you can look it up, like Blake Lively wore like the gold sequin jumpsuit and was just like all these like fabulous bell bottoms. And I was like, oh my gosh. And there was just this one just simple brown jumpsuit. But the bells on this were so sick. Like it had to be, you're not going to just like walk around or perform in them. It's like when you look at clothes like that, it's like from runway. Yeah. When that model steps off, like that needs to be like an editorial. Yeah. Like you need to stand and just like let that jumpsuit have its moment. But then it was like also just simple. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I could add all these cowgirl, like a double D, like fringe jacket over it and stuff. Anyway, they just shot this moment with her just standing there and the camera just like she was like frozen and the camera just moved. And it was just Lainey Wilson's silhouette. Just perfect. And I was just like, oh, this is such a moment.
Yeah, this is such a moment.
All for just these bells, okay, guys?
Mm-hmm. But it's so awesome because she was so, to me as an outside viewer who has always liked Lainey, she had the bell bottom style, but it was like prairie bell bottom. It was it was like it was Western, like it you could tell it was her personal style and she liked it. But that took her into another level of fashion. I feel like that was like the first look that I was like,
she was wearing like a
whoa.
$6,000 jumpsuit.
Yeah, it was like
You know
Michael
what I mean?
Kors
Like,
runway. Yeah,
it was really
awesome.
like, but yeah, it was an exaggerated fashion moment as a cowgirl.
And then after that, I feel like you did like one look after another where it was that exaggerated, like beautiful cowgirl, but like
until
she's a star now.
Until you use all the collections, and then you're like, when's someone going to design another collection of bell bottoms
to do that? Okay, I love that. Who do you like? Who is someone else that you like to style? Like Lainey, I think is a really fun one because you get to be creative, and it's probably a challenge too because you keep the elements that keep her.
I love styling you.
Oh well. Thanks.
Because
I wasn't
you're
fishing
like
for that.
the girly, fun, feathery, just like full of life. You know, sometimes you get in a routine of styling with certain artists because you're, keeping them their image and stuff like that. We get to have a lot like more creative fun. Yeah. It's not so like business, and
we also don't have any bosses in any.
Right, I don't have to answer to all these people and please all these people. We can just have fun. We do whatever the hell we want to do.
We can do whatever we want to do. Anytime we're like on set, we got like 35 people shooting the In My Sundays things, and I'm like, hey guys, there are no like bosses. There's no red tape.
There's no agent, manager,
everybody
label.
Like, let's just have a great time. Yeah.
And it's so fun.
No rules.
It really is fun. You let me I still get to have like that girly fun, just glitz and glamour with you, which I really love.
It's fun. It's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes things that should be fun and that you're passionate about and you have a talent for become not fun because they become like work.
Yeah.
And styling never feels like that with you.
Yeah.
To me. And I also love, and what I've seen from the outside is bringing people in my life who don't work with stylists a lot. And like my sister will do a shoot, or like my mom will be in the room when we're doing styling. They love it. They love everyone. If there's one person, I work with 100 people now. If there's one person that literally every single person around me, everyone on my team is so excited to walk in the door. Everybody loves to work with. Everybody absolutely loves the energy of it's you. You have the single best
I needed this today.
energy of anyone that I work with across the board.
Thank you.
And it's not just because you're doing something fun like fashion.
Yeah.
Like it is truly the best energy of anyone that I work with. Everyone loves being around you.
I feel like I've slacked at the end of the year with my energy, but I'm tired.
No, we're all tired.
But thank you. Thank you.
It's
I
true.
appreciate that. And I think that's what I always need to remember, because like you said, who's my favorite or whatever, I try not to have those. Like, I mean, don't, but I love to just make people feel good about themselves.
And you do that. Like I've seen
and
you do
I
it
like
with my
to just
sister.
have fun. Yeah. Like it's
like everything that Jade wears now is like some random thing that Cherie has styled with like a holiday sweatshirt. I'm like, oh really? Wow, you made an outfit out of the leopard pants.
Yes, and she loves leopard, and I love it.
Does. She's always like, but do you think Cherie would like this? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, she picked it. We've had that conversation so many times, and it's so funny.
But look how much fun she has now with
she
it
loves
too.
it.
As she should.
Loves it.
She's adorable.
It makes her feel so good in her clothes, and it's just so cool to see. And I can like still remember like back in the day when we started pulling outfits together. And like I said, now I can do things on my own because you've taught me how, because there is like a method, but still like those days where we're styling something really big, she comes into my room and she unzips all the bags and going through them. And there's such an excitement and like so much fun still with fashion for me. And I think so many artists and so many celebrities, it becomes mundane and part of their job, just like
for sure.
Everybody has part of their job. But for me, it's still like such a highlight and so special because it's something that like I never thought I'd be able to do. And because I just like styling with you because it's just fun.
And you have all the fun stuff to play with.
Yeah, it's fun.
The colorful closet.
The collection. I love collections too. I always encourage people to start a collection of like the things that they like. So you and I were big jewelry people.
Tori, yep.
And so a lot of times if I see a piece of jewelry or I want something that might be a little out there, I'll like send a picture to Sheree and she'll be like, nope, not worth it. Or she'll be like, yes, you need that. Like you're so quick to answer. You don't say, well, do you this and that? Like that's what I love about a stylist, because you're truly a professional at what you do. You also like know me.
Thank you.
And so you tell me, no, yes. No,
I try to be very honest.
You talk me out of a lot of stuff too.
Yeah,
that
I'm
want.
sorry. I
or
know.
like sometimes I'll buy something.
You
and
still
you're
wouldn't
like,
got that back though. You still wouldn't got that back.
I
saw that.
No, but it was different.
But it was great.
It was, and they only do metallics at holiday.
See, it was fun.
So I'm glad that I didn't do the neutral, like leather or whatever it was.
You did the fun.
I did the fun
standout.
gold.
If you're gonna spend money like that, that's what you should. Then go for it.
But you know what else I feel like have taught me to become comfortable with my decisions when I'm styling myself. And I know I like over the top out there things. And sometimes when I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to splurge on this or that, I'm like, it needs to be something that feels practical. Then I realized I never pull for the practical stuff. Whenever I'm in my closet, that thing that was practical that I was like, oh, you should definitely get that color versus the gold. I should have got the gold.
Yeah. Oh no. Now that is you though. That's what.
Yeah.
I mean, even just think about how you evolved with just like all the fun bags.
Yes.
I mean, the banana bag.
Yes, the banana bag is so
What was
fun.
the one you just used in New York with the French fry?
The French fry.
The French fry. I mean, why not?
And they're Amazon. They look like they're really expensive, like $3,000 or whatever.
What, Judith Lieber?
Yeah, but they're Amazon.
Oh no, Amazon has
$50.
Killer ones.
I know.
And how fun. It's just like, what a way to like show your personality and tell a story and just have fun.
Yeah. But I do feel like I have learned to get the things I like. That's one thing that you've helped me. You gave me the confidence to be like, hey, no, that's your style. We're not going to do the practical thing, because practical thing doesn't work for everybody. No. Or also, like, if you don't wear heels, don't go out and be like, oh, well, I need a practical pair of heels for this thing.
Don't wear heels.
Don't wear heels. And another thing that I've learned from you too is if you like something, it's okay to get it in multiple colors. Because I used to think that I was like wrong in doing that. But I love those platform shoes, those platform Prada shoes. And I wear them all the time.
How confident do you feel when you put those
I
on?
love them. I'm 10 feet tall. Yeah.
So
and
why
they're comfortable.
not?
I can wear them
the problem?
7.5 months.
What other people think? No.
Yeah.
It's how you feel.
I know. And I'm just like, well, okay, do I need to get a lower heel? Because do I need to, or do I need to not get the other color? And then I'm like, no, I bought 6 pair of $150 shoes that equaled what I would have bought if I would have just bought the one more gold one.
Right. Well said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So knowing your personal style, and you know how, you probably don't even remember saying this to me, but I think we were talking about like how do you know your personal style? And you're like, okay, what do you feel good in? Think about the outfits that you wore, and like, what did you like feel really good in that you were wearing? So I was like, okay. So think back on the outfits that I'd worn, and I was like, oh, I really liked that gold dress, or I really liked that caftan, or I really liked that. I didn't like the leather jacket. I didn't like the leather pants. I hate when I wear black, unless it's at a funeral.
Then stop wearing black.
I know.
I will keep trying to make you wear leather. Okay. We have not compromised on that one yet, but that's for another day.
Yes. And another thing that you taught me was adding 2 things to make things cool. So the outfit that I'm wearing right now, we styled like 2.5 years ago. Not we. I did not have anything to do with this. So this was from Amazon. It's a turtleneck dress. It's a Merlot turtleneck dress.
Looks like you have Sally LaPointe on right now.
Right. And it ain't. It's Amazon, right? $29.
Yes, that was Amazon with even I think those are the Amazon feathers. Like, you all just, if you want feathers to add to anything, always remember ostrich feathers, at least 3 ply.
At least 3 ply. Oh, that's a great tip.
That is the more luxury version of getting them on Amazon.
Right.
Nothing under 3 ply.
Nothing under.
And has to be ostrich, not like a true boa feather.
Yeah.
An ostrich boa feather.
And then this is tacked on in like 4 spots. And we tack these onto the bottom of my jeans all the time. Sometimes we just safety pin them.
Yeah.
Or onto the bottom of like a regular little caftan that like wasn't expensive. And I think a lot of people think, well, when you buy a dress, like that's what the dress is. But the addition of the
that's just the beginning of the dress.
Really
that's just
fun.
the base.
Yes.
That is just the base piece.
Okay. Tell me, as we like wrap up the podcast, tell me some of your like favorite brands. If people are like, gosh, I don't even know where to start. Like what are some places that you shop a lot?
Oh, I love so many different brands. I mean, I utilize the websites that now everyone kind of utilizes, like Revolve and Forward. I love Moda, My Teresa. I love going on like websites like First Dibs.
Oh yeah.
To find like just cool different things. Wolf and Badger is another good one because they rep like a lot of like independent designers mixed with, I mean, you can get in a deep hole and just like type something in, and all these like independent and like random designers you know you haven't heard about are on there, and just like cool different things. So that's a fun thing if you don't want to like stick to Net-a-Porter is a good one. You know, I like sometimes going on these sites, finding that brand, and then going straight to see what's on their actual website, because only these other parties like only, you know, pick and choose and buy off of that brand. But there's another brand that I absolutely obsessed with too, and I know everyone's like into this Western vibe, but Toga Pula.
I don't even know.
It's a little, it's pricey, but oh, they have great stuff. I just saw they have a blue. I didn't know that actually these Zara ones are probably the Toga Pula. Sorry, I'm butchering this. I'm from Louisiana, but these shoes, they have them in the blue fur, just like this, but blue fur. But they have the little Western buckle on the side.
Okay, Toga. How do you spell it?
Toga. And then the second word is Pulla.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Sold me on it. Okay.
And sometimes it's hard to get and hard to find. Certain websites carry it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And
love YSL though.
I know you do love YSL.
I will wear a whole Walmart outfit and just carry a YSL bag with my diamond rings.
Yeah, with my diamond rings.
And I'm good. That makes me feel good.
Too?
And I'm confident in that. And I will be glad to tell you that my pants are from Walmart. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
But don't cut my fingers.
I believe you. Yeah. I believe you. I also think too, Dillard's has been like a hidden gem
our
for you.
Dillard's love story.
You pull so much stuff for me from Dillard's. She pulls stuff for the red carpet from Dillard's.
Gianni beanie.
Yeah, you love.
Why
Gianni
did I
beanie.
not say them? Gianni beanie. I swear, I have put them on the red carpet so many times.
Yeah.
You love their shoes. Then we started dabbling in their clothes. That was like the
It's great
first
stuff.
brand that I like discovered at Dillard's when I moved to Nashville, and I was like, why are these? You know, none of these girls want to be walking in Louboutins on the red carpet. Their feet hurt. They're crying by the time they do press. You know, I'm like, for what? Like, I
know, and then it's
who
like
cares? Like,
you're only gonna wear them one time.
These Gianni at Dillard's are so comfortable. It looks so cool, and why not? Why are we not wearing these?
I feel like we wear a lot of Gianni beanies. I would say that's my most worn, like shoe brand or like locally shopped in person. Like you guys find the best stuff.
Dillard's is the jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dillard's is the jam.
Call me Dillard's. Call her.
Dillard's. Call her. So she ain't got to keep racking up her credit card, okay?
I mean, give me some kind of Dillard's discount, maybe.
This was so awesome and so fun. And I love talking fashion. I also just love working with creatives who love what they do. And you are a creative that loves what you do.
Thank you.
It oozes out of you every single day. Whenever you sometimes she'll be bringing Rome to school and we'll start at like 6 a.m. or something like that for a shoot. And she's like, do not style the cowboy sweatshirt until I get there because I've been dreaming of it. Like you're truly still
because I just
so passionate
and like
about what you do and you love it. And that is the kind of people that I like to be around me. And I am so grateful that I asked Brittany what her jeans were one day.
We have to thank Brittany.
We do need to thank Brittany.
It comes down through Brittany.
No.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you, Brittany, for this wonderful introduction. And thank you for coming on because it is we're shooting this podcast in a very busy season for both of us. And it's just
thank you.
It's been a long time coming, but I know people are going to love this.
I am so grateful you had me. I feel so lucky. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I will link everywhere where you can find Cherie. I love it because Cherie posts the most fun funny memes and stories and inspiration and like stuff to her stories every single day. And then, I know you never post like the people that you style. I feel like to your feed that often,
I'm a little
but
behind on that.
She will post like inspo to her stories all the time.
Yeah.
So I'll put
Inspo
Cherie's
and
Instagram. Inspo and memes. She loves them. But you know, we're just two creative women out here trying to figure it out in the world. Yeah. One of these days you'll post to your feed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for listening to or watching the Living Fully podcast. I will link everything Cherie in the show notes. And if you're a person who is feeling just a little bit like, I really wish that I could get into fashion, but I don't know where to start, I really hope that this helped you. If you're a person that loves fashion, I hope it inspired you. I'm just so grateful for Cherie in my life. So thank y'all for listening.